Mom is so lazy, she can't even be bothered to care when Dad cheats. After all, Dad gives her shares, bought me a villa. He invests in my education. Mom collects dividends yearly. She tells me,
find yourself a husband who doesn't cause trouble.
With my looks, I married the prince of the capital. Once the capital's most notorious playboy. He gave up all other women for me. He transferred all his assets to my name.
Everything I have is yours. I am yours.
When our daughter Sui Sui was born, I had a difficult delivery. He begged with tears in his eyes, offering half his own life. For my safety, he gave me all his exceptions and privileges, making everyone believe in the fairy tale of the reformed playboy. But before our daughter turned 2, paparazzi caught him with a model. Car shaking right on the street. I was so furious I burned every limited edition supercar in the garage. He just calmly transferred me $1 billion.
Keep burning them. I'll buy more if it's not enough.
Signing divorce papers, our daughter cried for her daddy. In that moment, holding my sobbing daughter, my heart shattered. I decided to give him one more chance. But on New Year's Eve, I received my first gift of the year. Intimate photos of him with another woman. Just 10 minutes earlier, the man holding our daughter, watching fireworks. 10 minutes later, he was in another woman's bed. And almost simultaneously, the headline prints of the capital's New Year's Eve secret rendezvous exploded online. In the main hall of the Jiang family estate, the eyes of every guest snapped to me in unison, waiting for my reaction. My assistant hurried over, looking tense.
Should we fuel the fire on the trending topics as usual? Make it blow up even bigger?
My voice was flat. No. Contact PR, suppress it. The hushed whispers filling the hall instantly ceased, then erupted with even greater intensity.
She used to want the whole world to know. He let her humiliate him. Then go right back to his affairs. Has she finally realized? Tantrums won't keep a man. She learned to swallow her pride. Pretending to be the bigger person?
I ignored them, maintaining a facade of calm as I continued to oversee the banquet proceedings. After the guests left, I knocked on Madame Jiang's door. When she saw me, her face showed undisguised guilt.
KK, you've been wronged. I'll call that good-for-nothing son of mine right now.
The call connected. She put it on speaker and barked.
Duanyun. Where are you? Not home on New Year's Eve. Get your ass back here right now.
Noisy background sounds on the other end, mixed with a woman's coquettish laughter. Jiang Duanyun's voice, laced with laziness.
Mom, busy. I'll make it up tomorrow. It's her birthday. Promise to cut cake. Tell KK for me. She handled today's mess pretty well. Very understanding. Acting like Mrs. Jiang. Keep it up. Bye.
Madame Jiang's chest heaved with rage. She slammed her phone onto the couch.
That ungrateful bastard.
But I just smiled softly, my gaze calm. 5 years ago, my mother was an end-stage liver failure. You donated half of your liver to save her. That life-saving debt. I will always remember it. So, when you said you wanted me to tie Duanyun down, to make him settle, I agreed. And I did it. Sui Sui turned 1, he went back to old ways. 2 years, fought, raged, made every scene. You've protected me, but I couldn't keep him. Madame Jiang sighed deeply, taking my cold fingers in hers.
My child. I bound you with that debt. What do you want? I'll give you anything.
I pulled a document from my handbag. I want a divorce, and I want full custody of Sui Sui. Madame Jiang's eyes were complex. After a long silence, she nodded.
I'll help. Stay with me half a month more.
As I turned to leave, I heard her murmur, as if to herself.
Back then, it was Duanyun who fell for you at first sight. He begged to marry you, bring you home.
Sincerity was real, but it's fickle. I went downstairs. My phone screen lit up. A large transfer from Jiang Duanyun, with a message attached.
Everyone's saying you've changed. Learn to be the bigger person. True or false? Feels weird. I'm at the abyss. You know, that club you had shut down last month? Just reopened. Room V888. Come bring me some supplies.
I didn't reply. I just ordered the supplies online. Had the delivery sent to his address. Early next morning, I was patiently braiding my daughter's hair when Jiang Duanyun pushed the bedroom door open.
Daddy.
My daughter's eyes lit up. I watched quietly. This father-daughter bond. No matter the hell we raised. But when it comes to protecting our daughter's pure little world, we have an unspoken understanding. At least all that messy business with his floozies has never touched her. I chatted with our daughter a bit. Then Duanyun finally looked up at me.
You're taking her for her vaccinations today, right?
Yeah, appointment's at 9. My voice was flat.
All right, I'll drive you.
In the car on the way to the clinic, Duanyun glanced at me from the corner of his eye. His gaze was probing, with a hint of amusement.
Last night, I was expecting either a horde of paparazzi, with their cameras, or the cops on a vice raid. Turns out it was just a delivery guy. That's not really your style, KK.
I watched the scenery fly by outside the window. My voice didn't waver. You wanted a proper Mrs. Jiang, didn't you? One who knows her place and doesn't cause you trouble. Duanyun was caught off guard for a second. Then he said,
Don't worry. No matter what, you're my lawfully wedded wife. The others are just a bit of fun on the side.
Those words were like a tiny needle, pricking my heart. Not fatal, but the sting lingered. When he married me, he said, I'd be the only one for the rest of his life. Now, this fun on the side just keeps piling up. The car stopped at the community clinic entrance. I pulled a file from my bag. and handed it to Duan Yun. Sign here. For our daughter's kindergarten enrollment next year. A whole stack of forms to verify. Hidden among them was the divorce agreement. Duan Yun didn't even look. He just signed his name on every page.
You handle these little things.
Just then, a commotion broke out at the clinic door. A pale-faced woman was being shoved impatiently by the cashier.
If you can't pay, move aside. There's a line.
The woman stumbled, almost falling. I glanced over. It was one of the floozies Duan Yun had supposedly cut ties with for me. My tone was still flat. Not going to help her out? She's an old acquaintance, after all. A smirk played on Duan Yun's lips as he lifted our daughter out of the car.
What's she to me? I said today is all about my daughter.
Right after the vaccination, Duan Yun texted me. Got an emergency. Take our daughter home first. I'll be there for her birthday. At the hospital entrance, the prince of the capital. Hero saves beauty headline trending. Candid shot at hospital entrance. Of her ice cream and soften my tone. Sweetie, if Mommy and Daddy don't live together anymore. Want to live with Mommy? She thinks. Then nods.
Yes. Wherever Mommy is, I'll be. Daddy's always busy. It's enough to have Mommy with me.
A child's world is simple and direct. I lean down and kiss her forehead. That's my good girl. Let's not tell Daddy about this yet, okay?
Okay.
After settling my daughter, my phone rings. It's my assistant.
Young Master Jiang wants cloud water keys. Seems he gave them to that new flame of his. Ji some nobody D-list celebrity.
My premarital property. He picks well. I reply to the voice on the other end with a flat tone. Understood. Hanging up, I look up the standard rental rates for the capital and forward them to Duan Yun. Since he's putting someone in my house, he'd better pay some damn rent. Duan Yun didn't reply, but a bank notification came through soon enough, a hefty transfer. The next few days, Duan Yun was a no-show. Fine with that. No need to keep tabs. What stunt Duan Yun was pulling next? No need to desperately cling on. I even picked up my music composition again, untouched for 2 years. Shifting my focus away from Duan Yun made everything feel so much lighter. Though in our shared social circles, I could still catch glimpses of his trail. Last night, he gambled big in Macau. Ji clung to him, smiling. The night before that, a private yacht party. In the photo, his arm is around Ji waist. Fireworks rising over the sea in the background. The latest post. Photo from a big shot producer's set visit. Duan Yun actually showed up at the filming of a dating reality show. He's lounging by the monitor, his gaze fixed on Ji. After all these years, his old flame won back his favor. He visited her on set. She's skilled. Daughter's party this weekend. Elite guests. Perfume, Silk Russell. I checked the menu, returned to the party. Saw Madame Jiang's displeased face. My daughter was surrounded. A woman was crouched in front of her. It was Ji. In her hand was an obscenely expensive diamond bracelet. A fake smile plastered on her face.
Your sister's birthday gift. Do you like it? Shall I help you put it on, sweetie?
My little girl seemed terrified, mumbling softly.
No.
Ji acted like she didn't hear, forcing the bracelet onto my daughter's tiny wrist. Then, with those big, watery eyes, she looked over at Duan Yun standing to the side.
Sway doesn't seem to like me very much. I just wanted to make the child happy.
I shoved Ji aside and scooped my frightened daughter firmly into my arms. My gaze locked directly on Duan Yun. Duan Yun, I told you. Keep the filth you play with outside. Don't bring it home. You're polluting my daughter's world. The air froze solid. Ji put on a wounded, helpless look, her eyes pleading with Duan Yun.
Young Master Jiang, I was only following your instructions. To bring your daughter a birthday gift.
Duan Yun's face darkened. His eyes brimmed with irritation.
I thought you learned your place. Seems I was giving you too much credit. Ji is my newly hired personal assistant. I brought her to learn our daughter's preferences. For future care. You can't even tolerate that? Where is your dignity as Mrs. Jiang?
You parade your mistress into our home, putting on a show, and now you dare talk to me? Saving face? Duan Yun's expression turned thunderous. Madame Jiang's sharp intervention stopped what came next. A meticulously planned birthday celebration ended in bitter discord. My daughter, shaken, developed a low-grade fever that very night. After she slept, I sorted through the assets. But when I got to the family trust fund old Mr. Jiang had specifically set up for his granddaughter, something was off. A massive withdrawal from the fund. Approver? Duan Yun himself. The amount was staggering, nearly the entire principal. I drove to Jiang Corp, marched to that office. As I reached for the door, I faintly heard from inside a woman's coquettish giggles and a man's heavy, ragged breathing. Swallowing down the wave of nausea, I pushed the door open. Ji sat on the desk, blouse half undone. Her skirt hiked up to her waist, facing the doorway, while Duan Yun had his back to the door. His shirt was disheveled. Duan Yun's brow twitched almost imperceptibly as he adjusted his clothes.
What are you doing here now? What do you want?
I held up the bank statements. Trust fund money is almost all gone. Did you do this? Before Duan Yun could even open his mouth, Ji hiding behind him, spoke up timidly.
Young Master Jiang, I'm sorry. If not for my penalty fee, he wouldn't have touched her money. Now I've made Mrs. Jiang so angry. It's all my fault.
Duan Yun patted the back of Ji hand, in a reassuring gesture. Only then did he lift his eyes to look at me.
Don't be so dramatic. At the last birthday party, you embarrassed her in front of all those people. She's young and sensitive. She cried for days. That money, consider this compensation from our daughter. Think of it as paying to avoid disaster.
A buzzing filled my ears. My vision even went dark for a second. Just then, the office door was knocked on.
Young Master Jiang, the meeting is about to start.
Jiang casually straightened his shirt and tried to placate me.
All right, enough with the long face. I have my secretary order the latest jewelry collection. It'll be delivered home later. Consider it my apology to our precious daughter.
With that, he walked right past me and left with Jiang. Jiang's apology jewelry arrived at the villa the very next day. I didn't even look at it. I told the housekeeper to put it straight in storage. I didn't ask again about where the money went. I didn't make another scene about Jiang either. Jiang seemed to take my silence as surrender. He stopped coming home, lingering in Jiang's tender embrace instead. The tabloid gossip was endless. Jiang, a D-list nobody, was forcibly propelled to the top of the entertainment world. Her past was dug up. The comments were flooded with netizens eating popcorn.
They were together for 3 months before his marriage. In the history of young Master Jiang's flings. This is practically a record, okay? Don't even mention how he chased the current Mrs. Jiang back in the day. It was just as dramatic. TSK. History really does repeat itself.
The word repeat was like a key, suddenly and violently, unlocking the memory's padlock. When Jiang was pursuing me, he cut off all his messy ties. Everyone in the capital circle knew. He loved me like his life, racing cars, fighting for me, giving me all. Even Madame Jiang said, I was the only one who could ever tie Jiang's heart down. Looking back now, it's all a joke. I had shifted my focus to my own career, the composition studio I founded before marriage. In 2 days was the collaboration launch event. With a major brand, this year's key project. I specifically invited an A-list actress as the guest to leverage her influence and elevate the brand's prestige. But on the day of the launch, who walks on stage? None other than the beaming Jiang. I froze on the spot. Jiang had slipped into the venue at some point, standing beside me with a wine glass. My face fell. Jiang, how dare you replace the guest I arranged? We're husband and wife, one entity. Your resources are my resources.
What's yours is mine. Besides, I've been wondering. Her small project. Consider it a favor to your husband. So the money she makes for you will just about cover that fund you lost, right? My stomach churned. I fought down the urge to slap him right there.
The presentation moved to the main product. Jiang clearly forgot her lines, standing there awkwardly on stage. A reporter seized the chance. Jiang panicked completely, stammering her way through. The technology is very complex. It's similar to
the algorithm of an app, more or less. Muffled laughter and whispers started in the audience.
The brand representative's face was already turning dark. Then, probably from sheer nerves, Jiang knocked over a glass of water, splashing it directly onto the product sample next to it, a speaker. The speaker emitted a piercing screech, and the screen flickered a few times before going completely black. The room erupted in chaos. Oh my god, is she here to sabotage the event?
She can't explain basic features. Why hire her? Is this a joke? Jiang stood pale-faced on stage.
Turning teary, pleading eyes toward Jiang. Jiang signaled his bodyguards to escort her off the stage. After calming her down, he turned back to me. Mian was just nervous, that's all. Next time, we'll make sure she's better prepared.
The launch ended in a shambles. I stayed silent. My phone began to vibrate incessantly. The first message.
The press conference ended abruptly. I didn't speak. The phone started buzzing wildly. The first one. It's the agent of the movie queen, sending a furious message, accusing the studio of lacking professional integrity. Then, partner brands demand explanations. And a discussion on compensation. Next, several project managers we were in talks with texted, politely saying they'd reconsider. Finally, an urgent report from the studio itself. 3 partners want to cancel contracts and are demanding we cover the breach penalties. I didn't even look at Jiang's face. I just held up my phone screen, showing him the brands, demand letters, termination notices, and the studio's report, estimating massive losses. Jiang's eyes swept across the screen. His brow furrowed slightly.
Just a minor hiccup. I'll have my people handle it. Whatever the loss, I'll double it, triple it.
He turned and walked out to the small balcony to make a call. Meanwhile, Jiang lifted her head to look at me. Her fear gone, replaced by smug defiance.
See? All I have to do is ask. And young Master Jiang will hand over your entire studio. Just to be my stepping stone. Shi Jingque, if I were you, I'd have the sense to slink away already. Why cling to the title of Mrs. Jiang and make everyone hate you?
Looking at her gloating, triumphant face, I suddenly laughed. Since you know exactly who I used to be, who gave you the guts to challenge me? I raised my hand and slapped her, clean and sharp. A crisp smack echoed through the lounge.
Shi Jingque.
Jiang's face instantly darkened. He shoved me, pulled Jiang into his arms. The force sent me stumbling backward. My side slammed hard into the sharp corner of a display table. Jiang didn't even glance my way. He was only concerned with Jiang's cheek, then looked up, furious.
Shi Jingque, are you done yet? I said I'd pay you back. Double. Triple. First it was smashing cars and burning down clubs. Now you're resorting to violence? You're so vicious.
Gripping the table, I fought pain and stood. I'm vicious? And what does that make you? A husband who steals his own daughter's money, brings his mistress to sabotage his wife's event? What are you, some kind of animal? Duan Yun seemed shocked by my defiance. His chest heaved with rage. He pointed a trembling finger at me.
Sure, Jingque. Let's see how long that tough girl act lasts.
He wrapped his arm tighter around Jimian and stormed off. He didn't look back once. The pain in my side grew sharper, but my heart just felt numb. I don't know how long I stood there. The ringing of my phone shattered the silence. It was Madame Jiang.
Jingque, dear. The divorce paperwork is almost finalized. It should be done within 5 days. Don't worry. Lawyers itemized your entitled assets.
Madame Jiang paused.
But, your father-in-law's 100th day memorial is in a few days. The family is expected to gather. The old man was very fond of you as a daughter-in-law. Would you be willing to help me one last time?
I was silent for a moment. Mr. Jiang had always been kind to me. This would be a final goodbye, indeed. On the day of the memorial, the sky was overcast as I directed the staff with the preparations. The sound of an engine growled outside the estate. Shi Jingque didn't need to turn around. She knew Jiang Duanyun had returned. He was back, and Jimian was clinging to his arm, pressed against his side. Throughout the entire ceremony, there was no communication between Jiang Duanyun and me. Not a single word, not even a glance. We were still legally married, yet we were complete strangers. Jimian, meanwhile, kept her eyes meekly lowered, sticking close to Duanyun's side, playing the perfect, humble little mouse. After the rites, the family moved to the side hall for the vegetarian meal. That's when my blunt-spoken aunt-in-law finally had enough. She set her chopsticks down gently, her gaze sweeping over Jimian. She spoke up.
Duanyun. Today is your father's memorial. What is the meaning of bringing an outsider to such an occasion? Jingque is right here. What must the elders of this family think?
Jimian's shoulders gave an almost imperceptible shudder. She pulled a pregnancy test result from her bag.
I know I shouldn't be here, but I'm pregnant. It's a Jiang heir, after all. I just wanted the baby to pay respects to its grandfather. To let the old man's spirit know the family line continues.
A deathly silence fell over the side hall. You could hear a pin drop. Jiang Duanyun's expression shifted. He finally looked at the aunt.
Since she's carrying a Jiang child, it's only right she attends.
That acknowledgement was a knife, plunged straight into my heart, and twisted. The aunt's face went pale with fury. She pointed a trembling finger at Jiang Duanyun.
What about Jingque and your daughter?
My voice, surprisingly steady, finally breaks the silence. Auntie, today is Dad's 100-day memorial. Let's not disturb his peace with my affairs. Jiang Duanyun shoots me a look of mild surprise. This news is different from what he expected. He expected me to cause a scene. But I simply stand up and look at Madame Jiang, whose face is ashen. Mom, I'm not feeling well. I'll take my daughter home first. I'll leave the rest to you. Without waiting for a response, I walk straight over to where my daughter is quietly playing with her toys. I gently take her small hand.
Mommy, are we leaving? My daughter asks, looking up.
I pick her up, she clings to my neck. Yes, sweetie, we're going home. Back at the villa, I lock myself in the study. Divorce is near, I want no last-minute trouble. But before evening, the nanny frantically knocks on the study door, holding a voice recorder, panic-stricken.
Madam, Miss Sui Sui is missing. We've looked everywhere. We only found this recorder.
I force myself to stay calm and turn on the recorder. A distorted voice comes through.
Sure, Jingque, your child is in my child's way too. Go to hell, all of you.
It's Jimian. Thank God I always had a GPS chip in my daughter's shoe. Signal shows a suburban abandoned dock. I grab my keys, driving and instructing my assistant. Dig up all the dirt on Jimian. Release it all. Buy out every headline. I want her reputation ruined within 24 hours. When I arrive at the abandoned dock, I see a small wooden boat floating in the distance. It seems to be leaking, slowly sinking. Water is already up to the child's chest. My baby. My heart shatters. I jump into the water without a second thought. I pull my daughter into a tight embrace. She's unconscious. She's cold and trembling. I suppress my hatred. After hospital, I check with my assistant. Jimian's reputation is already ruined. Her accounts flooded with hate, endorsements cancelled. Just then, rapid footsteps echo from the end of the hospital corridor. Jiang Duanyun storms in, furious. Behind him, red-eyed and fragile, is Jimian. Sure, Jingque, do you have to be so ruthless? I told you, no matter what, you'll still be Mrs. Jiang. Poor Jimian.
Sure, Jingque, must you be so ruthless? I told you, no matter what, your position as Mrs. Jiang, no one should have laid a finger on her. Why resort to such despicable means to destroy her? She's carrying your child. Don't you know how easily a pregnant woman's emotions can be affected?
I stared straight into Duanyun's eyes. My words were slow and crystal clear. Duanyun, do you know your daughter was kidnapped this afternoon and almost drowned? The fury on Duanyun's face instantly froze. His pupils contracted sharply.
What does this have to do with Mian?
I pulled out the small voice recorder. Hand it to him. Listen for yourself. Before he could move, the tears from Jimian behind him began to fall like a broken string of pearls.
That's not my voice. It's all fake. Is Mrs. Jiang so full of hatred for me? To use such a trick. And slander me, saying I tried to harm Sui Sui?
Her other hand feebly covered her lower abdomen. Her body curled slightly.
You're trying to drive me to my death. My child and I might as well be dead and gone.
The shock and doubt on Duanyun's face completely darkened.
To frame Mian, you'd even use our own daughter's life as a pawn in your game?
After a long moment, I let out a faint, hollow laugh. Duanyun, you are truly blind and heartless. I didn't wait for an answer. I pushed open the door to my daughter's hospital room and walked in. My phone screen lit up. 2 new messages. The first was from Duanyun.
Mian is emotionally unstable. The baby's condition is also at risk. To calm her, I might have to give her a proper status. Stay in your lane. It won't affect your position.
Every word dripped with undisguised favoritism. I moved my fingers and typed back 2 words, be my guest. The other message was from Madame Jiang.
KK, all the paperwork is done. It's already been sent to the airport. Take care.
I took a deep breath and simply replied, thank you, madam. I checked my daughter out of the hospital and returned to the villa. That held too many memories. I went straight upstairs, pulled out a suitcase and started packing. Efficient, decisive. Not a single moment of hesitation. I packed essentials for myself, and for Sui Sui, along with a few meaningful old keepsakes. All those expensive jewels and lavish gowns? I left every single one. I looked around my former home, my gaze calm and detached. The warmth had long since vanished, leaving only an exquisite shell. I picked up my daughter and rushed straight to the airport without looking back. My daughter slept soundly in my arms. Her breathing was even. I gazed out the window. Everything on the ground grew distant, finally vanishing from sight. The moment the plane touched down, I let out a long-held breath. Sui Sui was slumped on my shoulder. Her little face flushed pink with sleep. At the exit, Jingqing stood waiting. He didn't rush to hug me. Gently, he drew both me and Sui Sui into his embrace.
You've had a rough time, KK.
He whispered those 3 words in my ear. My eyes stung instantly. I buried my face in his shoulder. I caught the familiar scent of soap on him. It smelled like home. Jingqing let go of me quickly, as if that brief warmth had just been an illusion. He bent down and winked at Sui Sui.
Sui Sui, remember your uncle?
Sui Sui, a bit shy, shrank back into my arms. Jingqing smiled. He took the heaviest suitcase from my hand, and with the other, lifted Sui Sui out of my arms, securely hoisting her onto his shoulders.
Hold on tight, little princess. The royal carriage is departing.
Sui Sui excitedly wrapped her arms around his neck. Giggling, the car entered a quiet, upscale neighborhood. The gate swung open. Mom and Dad were standing right there. Mom's eyes were red. She rushed forward and grabbed my hand. Tears fell before she could even speak.
You're back. That's all that matters.
Dad stood behind her, his eyes also rimmed with red. He gave my arm a firm, heavy pat.
You've lost weight.
Sui Sui toddled on her little legs, rushing into Grandma's arms. Mom knelt down and hugged her tight, cooing my precious, my darling. Jingqing unloaded the luggage from the car. He stood up straight and gave a sloppy salute.
Mission accomplished, General. Both Her Highnesses have been delivered safely. Awaiting further orders.
Dad laughed at his antics, scolding playfully.
Always clowning around.
Mom, through her tears, chuckled and gave him a light punch. I stood there watching them, a lump forming in my throat. But this time, it wasn't from hurt. It was warmth. Dad, Mom, I said softly, we're home. During the meal, Mom filled the table with all my favorite dishes. He piled food on our plates, asking questions. Not a single word about the Jiang family. After dinner, Mom took Sui Sui for a bath. Dad went to the study to take a call, leaving just me and Jingqing in the living room. He tossed me a warm milk can and cracked open a beer for himself. He slumped on the sofa, legs on the table.
So, settling in okay?
He asked casually. I clutched the warm milk can. Nodded. Yeah.
What's the plan going forward?
Take a break for a while. Spend time with Sui Sui. I paused. Then maybe pick up composing again. Jingqing raised an eyebrow and whistled.
Not bad. That's more like the sister I know. If it were for back then.
He stopped mid-sentence, slapping his own mouth in frustration.
Forget that old mess. Do whatever you want. Need anything, you tell me. Money, manpower, I've got you covered.
KK, come help me sort out the attic. Some of your old things are up here.
I followed her up. Mom opened a cardboard box in the attic. Inside were my music trophies from school, handwritten scores, and a few photos of me performing with the school orchestra. The girl in the photos had bright, shining eyes. Holding her violin, laughing carefreely. Mom's voice choked up.
So many years have passed. You were so radiant back then. If I hadn't gotten so sick that year. If Mrs. Jiang hadn't donated part of her liver, I might have. You felt you had to repay the debt. And you. Did you truly like Duanyun that much? To decide to stay?
Mom's tears fell.
Your father and I both tried to talk you out of it. Jingqing was the first to object, and fiercely. Said that Jiang boy had shifty eyes, a restless mind. Not someone to build a life with. But we couldn't change your mind.
I was stunned. I never knew. My brother had objected so vehemently. While I was diving headfirst into love and obligation, the people closest to me saw the red flags. Mom, don't. I took her trembling hand. I chose this path. And I have Sui Sui. I don't regret it.
But you suffered so much.
Mom sobbed uncontrollably.
Better to think of it as what, exactly?
Jingxing's voice came from the stairwell. He was leaning against the doorframe, holding a fruit plate. Eyebrow arched, looking at me.
Finally realize who's the real expert at spotting trash. The one who can see right through a scumbag's soul.
His light, slightly smug tone cleverly cut through the sadness. Before I could speak, Mom swatted at him, annoyed.
Always joking around. Just love picking on your sister, don't you?
Shi Jingque dramatically goes, ow. He shoves the apple into my hand.
How could I dare? I'm just helping Mom educate my little sister. To learn how to take the right advice. Especially the kind that comes from her big brother.
My heart feels warm watching this. The past can't be changed, but at least we still have each other. And this, a place I can always come back to, a real home. A few days later, I rented a studio space. Named it KK, using my own name. Registering, renovating, buying gear, all the tedious stuff. Shi Jingque practically handled it all. He called it providing logistical support for the future maestro. He complained the curtains I picked were too bland. Then drive all over town to find the exact same shade. He'd gripe the coffee machine was all style, no substance. Then he'd pour over the manual to grind me my first perfect cup. While I revised sheet music, he'd be on the couch nearby. Working on his laptop, handling business. He'd glance up, watching my focused profile. The quiet room, only my pen scratching and his keyboard softly clacking. It felt strangely harmonious. Mom dropped by a few times, watching Shi Jingque orbit around me. Her eyes held warmth and a flicker of something complex. I'd just seen off a potential client about a film scoring gig. When Mom showed up at the studio, Shi Jingque happened to be outside taking a call. Mom, what brings you here? I poured her a glass of water. She ran her fingers along the rim, hesitating for a long time. Finally, as if she'd made up her mind.
KK, there's something I've been thinking about for a while. I should tell you.
I sat down across from her, a vague sense of foreboding settling in.
Jingxing, he's not your father's and my biological son.
Her voice was soft, but the words hit me like a thunderclap. My head snapped up.
He was adopted.
Mom sighed, her gaze drifting toward the window.
Back then, my health wasn't good. I couldn't conceive. The pressure from your grandparents was immense. That's when we saw Jingxing at the orphanage. That boy was always stubborn, with defensive eyes. But for some reason, I felt an instant connection when I saw him.
She pulled her gaze back, looking at me intently.
Jingxing, he keeps his thoughts close. He doesn't say much. But his care for you, we've seen it since you were little. He knew you weren't his blood sister from the start. He's been trying so hard to be the best brother he could be. Mom didn't spell it out, but her meaning was clear.
Mom didn't say it more directly, but the meaning was clear. It's crystal clear now that from the very beginning, adopting Jingxing, to some extent, was meant to raise a husband for me, a guardian for their daughter. A reliable, lifelong protector they could trust with my life. I stood frozen, 1,000 memories flooding my mind. When I was bullied as a kid, Jingxing was always the first to charge in, throwing punches, getting battered and bruised, never backing down. When I practiced piano, he'd sit beside me, dozing off, drooling, but he'd never leave first. When I insisted on marrying Duan Yun, he fought me tooth and nail, stormed out after a huge fight. He carried me out, red-eyed, on our wedding day, murmuring,
If he ever hurts you, come home. I'll take care of you.
All that protection I took for granted. It had this hidden layer. The way he looked at me. Those complex glances weren't just brotherly affection. I always thought he was just an incredibly good brother. My chest felt tight, stuffed full, aching with a sour swell. Just then, the studio door swung open. Jingxing walked back in, finishing a call.
Just closed a huge deal. We're celebrating tonight, Mom. You're coming too. I know this new private kitchen.
He cut himself off, sharp eyes instantly picking up. The strange quiet in the room. His brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. Then, that familiar, careless grin slid back into place.
What's going on here? Mom. You're not giving KK the good old days lecture again, are you? Don't make my little sister cry. She's currently our family's most endangered species.
Mom shot him a look, stood up.
All right, you two chat. I'm heading out.
She patted my hand, gave me a meaningful look, and left. The studio was just the two of us again. Jingxing walked over to my desk. Leaning in slightly, hands braced on the edge. He was close. His presence enveloped me instantly.
Our great composer hit a creative wall?
The corner of his mouth quirked with his usual teasing.
Frowning hard enough to kill flies. What's on your mind? You're miles away.
He was too close. Close enough for me to clearly see my own reflection in his eyes. And beneath that careless facade, a deep, focused tenderness. Like a tiny, cautious flame. Burning quietly, holding on to some kind of hope. My heart skipped a beat. My breath hitched. Before, I wouldn't have felt a thing. But now, Mom's words echoed in my ears, every past moment clicking into place. All those feelings washed over me, and I didn't pull away. I even lifted my gaze slightly, meeting his eyes directly, which held a hint of a smile. A delicate tension hung in the air. The second hand ticked a few beats. Jingxing straightened up first, creating a bit of distance, as if that brief, charged moment had never happened.
A man's gotta eat. Let's go, artist. Let your hard-working age intrigue you.
He extended his hand toward me, palm up, an invitation. Not like holding my hand as a kid. This gesture carried a probing, ambiguous weight. My eyes lingered on his open palm for a couple of seconds. There were faint calluses from years of holding a pen. Then, slowly, I placed my hand in his. My fingertips felt cool. All right. In the following days, a tacit, delicate atmosphere began to spread between us. Jingqing was still as attentive as ever, cracking jokes, but those seemingly casual touches now carried a hint of testing the waters. I didn't shy away, but I didn't respond more directly either. I just quietly accepted this unusual closeness. Occasionally, when he overstepped, I'd lift my eyes, give him a cool look. Jingqing would immediately raise both hands, putting on that I surrender act, with that look on his face. That said, who, me? I didn't do anything, all innocent. But the smile in his eyes only deepened. He stopped acting just like a brother. Instead, he became a more frequent presence in the small details of my life. When I stayed up late composing, he'd silently make a warm bowl of congee and set it beside me. He'd even show up with 2 movie tickets, using some lame excuse. A client gave them, waste not to go. I saw right through all these changes. My mother's words. They were less of a heads up and more like a carefully orchestrated assist. And the mastermind behind it all? Who else could it be but this man in front of me? Who acts all casual but is actually moving step by step, with purpose. He's no longer content with being just a brother. He's carefully, patiently, carving out a new place for himself. And me? After that utterly exhausting marriage. Strangely, I don't even mind this kind of scheming. Watching. He bustled around me. I started to consider this feeling, built on years of familial closeness, now quietly shifting into something else. Maybe it's worth me gathering courage to step forward. But when? And how? I still need a little more time. But before I could take that step, my peaceful life was shattered. That afternoon, I was bent over the mixing console, fine-tuning strings, a soft knock at the door. Thought you were the sound engineer. Come in. The door opened but no one entered, only silence spread. I paused my movements, slowly straightening up. Jiang stood in the doorway, a tall figure in a tailored gray coat. He held a gift box in his hand, his face expressionless. His gaze fell heavily on me. He spoke first. Hiding out, all the way here?
Hiding from the noise, all the way here.
I put down my headphones, my face utterly calm. What do you want? Jiang took a few steps forward. He casually placed the gift on the sofa.
Where's Sway Sway? I came to see my daughter.
She's at kindergarten, I said flatly, moving around the workbench. I gathered the sheet music, ready to show him out. My composure completely infuriated him. The tears he'd expected, the accusations, the hysterics, none of it appeared. This complete disregard, was harder for him to bear than any outburst. He stepped forward, blocking my path, his voice lowering.
KK, had enough of this little game? Playing this runaway housewife act. Is it fun?
I finally looked up at him, my eyes like a frozen lake. Jiang, are you confused about something? The divorce papers are signed. We have no relationship now. Want to see your daughter? Fine. Make an appointment. This is my workplace. You're not welcome here.
No relationship.
Jiang scoffed, as if hearing the biggest joke.
What does a signature matter? You KK, could you ever really leave me? Jiang. Playing hard to get? Too late. Name your price. What will it take for you to come back with a kid? Don't test my patience.
Just then, the studio door opened again.
KK, ready to go? Sway Sway's pickup time is almost here. Mom wants us over for dinner.
Jingqing's voice cut off abruptly when he took in the scene. His eyes swept between Jiang and me, the casual smile on his face vanishing instantly, replaced by a cold sharpness. He stepped forward, subtly positioning himself in front of me. His stance was that of a full protector.
Mr. Jiang,
Jingqing raised an eyebrow. His tone dripped with icy distance and pure mockery.
what brings your highness to this little corner of the world? I'm here to see my sister.
Jiang's face darkened further at the sight of Jingqing. His expression turned stormy. This brother of KK's had never given him the time of day. Swallowing his anger, he tried to maintain some decorum.
I can check on KK and Sway Sway. This is a matter between husband and wife. It's hardly appropriate for a brother-in-law to interfere.
Husband and wife?
Jingqing let out a low, humorless chuckle, as if he'd heard the most absurd thing in the world. But his eyes were as cold as shards of ice.
Jiang, are you sleepwalking or did you get amnesia? What connection? Even a single penny's worth does my sister have with you now? Do I need to slap the divorce papers in your face to jog your memory?
Jiang, provoked one too many times, ran out of patience. His voice turned hard.
Jingqing, I've been tolerating you out of respect for being KK's brother. But my family affairs are none of your damn business, you outsider. KK had a moment of foolishness. Instead of talking sense into her, you're just fanning the flames.
Jiang, listen up and listen good.
Jingqing's voice dropped dangerously low, each word a hammer blow.
Shi Jingque is the sister I, Shi Jingque, have cherished and watched grow up. How did you swear to me back then? You promised you'd treat them right. And what happened? You let some cheap, worthless trash humiliate her over and over. Almost got Sway Sway killed. And now you have the nerve. Talk to me about family? I'm an outsider?
With every word he spoke, Jiang's face grew more ashen. All the details he tried so hard to ignore were being ripped open by Jingqing, raw and bleeding. Cornered and humiliated, he forced a cold sneer.
That was an accident. Jiang.
Shut your mouth.
Jingqing cut him off with a sharp, commanding bark. The disgust in his eyes was plain as day.
Don't say that name. You'll dirty this place. This is my final warning to you. Get out of her sight. Never come back. Stay the hell away from Sui Sui.
Jiang had never been publicly berated like this. Rage instantly shattered his composure.
Jingqing, who the hell do you think you are? Don't order me around.
Jingqing's eyes flashed dangerously. Without any warning, his fist smashed hard into Duanyun's face. The punch was fast, brutal, fueled by long-suppressed fury. Duanyun was caught completely off guard. Staggering from the blow, he crashed back onto the sofa. His lips split, bleeding. Staring at Jingqing in utter disbelief, Jingqing shook out his wrist, looking down at him with icy contempt.
That punch was for KK and Sui Sui. Duanyun, listen up. Before, it was KK being too soft, letting you walk all over her. From now on, things are different. My sister and my niece are under my protection. If you dare show your face near them one more time, harass them one more time, I'll see you once. I'll hit you once. Don't believe me? Go ahead and try.
Duanyun stared daggers at Jingqing, then looked at me, who had been coldly watching the whole time. A wave of unprecedented panic washed over him. Jingqing ignored him. He hugged me, softening.
It's over. Let's go. We're picking up Sui Sui.
From beginning to end, I didn't spare Duanyun another glance. Duanyun slumped onto the sofa, defeated. His cheek burned. He refused to believe I would really let go. Since the direct approach failed, he'd use our daughter as the wedge. In the following days, he changed tactics. Expensive toys, imported snacks, with handwritten notes, to Daddy's dearest Sui Sui, were constantly delivered to my mother's place. He timed the kindergarten pickup, calling the landline, his voice dripping with false sweetness.
Sui Sui, do you miss Daddy?
But the calls were always politely intercepted by my mom.
She's not available. Don't call again.
I told Mom to return it all. I instructed the kindergarten, aside from designated family, no one is to take Sui Sui, but some things can't be blocked. At bedtime, Sui Sui hugged her teddy bear and whispered,
Mommy, why doesn't Daddy live with us anymore? Why did we send back the doll he gave me? He said he misses me.
A flicker of confusion, a hint of sadness in my daughter's eyes. It pricks at my heart. I hold her tighter, my voice steady. You have family. You're still happy, right? Right? Sui Sui nodded. Her little face buried in my chest, she mumbled.
MHM. But sometimes I still miss Daddy.
That's when I knew this couldn't go on. Just avoiding him and blocking him out isn't the answer. Hiding makes him cling more, hurting her deeper. I need a final showdown, to cut him off for good. After Duanyun sent more toys to my mom's place, I picked up the phone and dialed his number myself. The call was answered instantly. KK.
Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Stillwater's Cafe.
My voice was flat, devoid of any emotion. We need to talk. Just us. I hung up before he could respond. No chance for negotiation. No time for him to prepare his lines. Duanyun stared at his phone, stunned. Then, a smirk he couldn't control tugged at the corner of his mouth. See? He knew she couldn't hold out. The silent treatment, blocking, it was all just a woman's tantrum. The endgame was always to make him cave, to make him beg for her back. He immediately cleared his schedule. Planned tomorrow's outfit and words. He even thought, maybe this was his chance to bring them both home. He was done with that Jiang woman anyway. Had her cleaned up and tossed out. Time to return to his family. Sui Sui misses her daddy. And Shi Jingque, she could never truly leave him. Feeling smug, he took a sip of his drink, already rehearsing their reunion in his head. The next afternoon, I arrived first. Duanyun showed up right on time, dressed to impress. He sat down across from me, his eyes scanning my face intently, searching for any sign of exhaustion, longing, any trace of weakness. But there was none. I was as calm and unreadable as still, deep water. He cleared his throat, breaking the silence first. KK, I've been thinking. I was a real jerk.
A complete idiot. I did so many things that hurt you, that hurt our family. Especially that whole mess with Jiang. And to think I actually blamed you for it. I'm such a... I know apologies sound empty now, but I need you to believe me. My feelings for you have never changed. You're not with anyone else right now. Give me a chance. Let me make it up to you. Let me win you back. Let's start over. Give Sui Sui her family back. I promise you. Only you and our daughter from now on. Never again. Give Sui Sui a real home. I promise. From now on, only you and our daughter. Never again.
He's still stuck in this fantasy that KK can't live without him. He thinks all my calmness and leaving are just tactics to make him come back. I finally let out a soft, cold laugh. Duanyun, you seem to have gotten a few things wrong. First, I came here today, not to hear your confession or give you a chance. I came to formally inform you that everything from the past is completely over for me. Second, my life is great. I don't need your making up or starting over. Without you, Sui Sui and I are only better off. Third, my gaze, calm and steady, meets his. Who told you there's no one else by my side? Duanyun's expression freezes instantly. It's like he can't process my words. Just then, a familiar figure appears at the cafe entrance. Jingqing is wearing a loose gray sweater, his posture tall and straight. He walks directly to our table. He naturally comes to my side, his hand resting lightly on the back of my chair.
Are you finished here?
Jingqing looks down, He asks gently, not even looking at the man. Not a single look for Duanyun. Duanyun stares at these two people who have appeared so abruptly. Their posture intimate. His pupils contract sharply. The color drains from his face.
Jingqing, you too.
His finger trembles as he points at Jingqing, then looks back at my expressionless face.
You're siblings. How could you?
Jingqing slowly lifts his gaze, locking it onto Duanyun. His eyes hold undisguised mockery and ice. The corner of his mouth lifts slightly as he speaks, each word falling like a sledgehammer, shattering against Duanyun's heart.
Siblings, Duanyun? Who told you we're blood related? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not. I was originally the husband in waiting the family prepared for KK. I watched her grow up, protected her, waited for her. My background is clean. My heart and eyes have always been pure. There has only ever been her. There will never be anyone else. So,
Jingqing shifts his focus back, pinning it on Duanyun's ashen face. Jiang Duanyun's face.
she has someone now. It's me. Got it?
The words childhood husband-to-be hit Duanyun like a thunderclap. They exploded in his mind with devastating force. He couldn't believe it. He stared at Jingqing, looked at me, allowing it. Closer to Jingqing. He staggered back, bumping into the table behind him. Cups and plates clattered. His world spun. For the next few days, Duanyun seemed to vanish off the face of the earth. No calls, no texts, no sign of him. But a few afternoons later, that familiar black Maybach appeared outside the kindergarten. Duanyun saw Jingqing and me walking side by side, especially when he saw Jingqing bend down with utter naturalness, scooping up the running Sui, and lifting her high. His face darkened like a storm cloud.
Sui.
Duanyun forced a gentle smile. He stepped forward.
Daddy's here to take you home.
Seeing Duanyun, the smile on Sui's little face froze for a second. Instinctively, she shrank back into Jingqing's arms, her tiny hands clinging tightly to Jingqing's neck. That tiny movement was like a needle, jammed straight into Duanyun's heart. Barely containing his rage, he softened his voice as much as he could.
Sui, come to Daddy. I'll buy you the newest doll. We'll get your favorite ice cream, okay?
But Sui mumbled softly.
No. I want Uncle and Mommy.
The smile finally slipped from Duanyun's face. He took a step forward, reaching out to grab her.
Be good. I'm your father.
Jingqing, still holding Sui, turned to block his hand, his tone icy.
Duanyun, you're scaring her.
Who the hell do you think you are, touching my daughter?
Duanyun snapped. He pointed a finger at Jingqing, shouting at Sui.
Sui, look. He's a bad man trying to steal your mommy away.
Sui, frightened by Duanyun's yelling. Her little mouth trembled, tears welling up. Duanyun seemed to have found a breakthrough, growing even more agitated.
KK, step aside. I need to make my daughter see this man's true colors.
Daddy's bad.
A child's voice, choked with tears, suddenly cut through Duanyun's furious tirade. The air instantly froze. Sui lifted her head from my embrace. Her little face was streaked with tears. She looked at Duanyun. Her eyes were filled with fear, hurt, and deep disappointment.
I hate Daddy.
Sui cried out with all her might. Her tiny finger pointed at Duanyun.
You yelled at Uncle. You scared Sui. You're a bad daddy. I don't want to go with you. I like Uncle. Uncle tells Sui stories. And plays with Sui. He never, ever gets mad at Sui.
The child's words, innocent and direct, were like a dagger, piercing with perfect precision, straight into Duanyun's heart. He went completely rigid, his blood seeming to freeze in an instant. He stared at his daughter in disbelief. He had always believed, no matter what happened between him and KK, Sui loved him, her father. It was the last shred of hope and support he had clung to, after losing me completely. And now, even that last bit of hope had been shattered by his own hands. The three of us stood together, and he, Duanyun, was utterly and completely the outsider. All his anger and resentment drained away in that moment, leaving nothing behind. In its place was a dead silence. He staggered back a step, colliding with the cold car door, utterly devastated. After that, Duanyun never showed up again. The days turned like pages in a book, each one passing by peacefully. My studio gradually got on track. I composed the score for a niche documentary. The ethereal, life-affirming melody unexpectedly won critical acclaim. I carefully screened offers. The music itself. I no longer needed to rely on any titles. I was just the composer, Shi Jingque. Sui adapted to her new environment, making friends at her new preschool. Jingqing filled that. He filled the void of a father figure, and then some. He'd craft with her, answer all her questions, and stay by her bed when she had nightmares. Sui was growing more attached to him by the day. My parents were completely at ease. They started planning a trip for themselves, leaving the space to us young people. Everything was moving in the right direction. Jingqing took over all the heavy lifting around the house. A light out, a pipe clogged? He'd roll up his sleeves. He remembered my favorite coffee beans, and which fruit Sui was allergic to. He handled a contract dispute for my studio with ruthless efficiency, but never bragged about it to me. He didn't overstep anymore, was even more restrained than before. Only sometimes, when I'd fall asleep at my desk working late, I'd wake up to find his jacket draped over me. Or when I'd hit a wall with a composition and get frustrated, he'd silently hand me a warm glass of milk and then just walk away, giving me all the space I needed. This quiet, steady kind of care It was like a soft spring rain, seeping in without a sound. It's not that I didn't feel it. I just needed time. My last marriage burned through all my love fantasies. What I crave now is something stable. A partnership you can trust. That kind of relationship seemed to be forming before me. One evening, I brought Sui home from school. To find Jingqing busy in the kitchen, wearing a floral apron that looked utterly ridiculous on him. You're back. Wash up, dinner's ready. Gonna try my cooking today.
He kept cooking, surprisingly skilled, without turning.
Sui cheered and ran over. On the table were 3 simple dishes and a soup. Simple, but the smell, it was the taste of home. Since when did you learn to cook? I was genuinely surprised. Jingqing ladled soup into my bowl, his tone casual. Figured it out messing around those first few years abroad. If it's no good, I'll do better next time.
The mood at the table was easy. Sui chattered away about her day at kindergarten.
Jingqing listened patiently, teasing her every now and then. After the meal, he started clearing the dishes. I moved to help, but he stopped me. Go look at your sheet music. I've got this. I stood in the kitchen doorway, watching his tall frame move around the sink. The light outlined the strong lines of his back.
A long-lost warmth and comfort wrapped around me.
I stood at the kitchen door, watching his tall back. He was busy at the sink, the light outlining his strong shoulders. A long-lost, warm sense of security enveloped me. My phone rang at that moment. It was Madame Jiang.
Jingque. After Duan Yun left his entire share of the business to Sui, he chose to teach remotely to atone. He asked me to tell you.
He's sorry. And also, he hopes you and Sui are well.
I paused, then softly said, Thanks, Auntie. Take care of yourself too.
What's wrong?
Jingqing wiped his hands and walked over. It's nothing, I shook my head, pulling my gaze back to him. Jiang Duanyun left some assets. For Sui. There was no surprise on Jingqing's face. He just said calmly.
Sui deserves it.
He paused, his gaze settling on my face.
What about you? What are your plans for the future?
I met his gaze, didn't look away. I saw in those eyes, usually holding a touch of rebelliousness, a quiet tenderness now. I suddenly felt. That answer, perhaps, didn't need to be rushed out loud. A slight curve touched my lips. Outside the window, a clear, sharp birdsong pierced the quiet evening sky. Let's just leave things as they are. This is good. The future is long. We have plenty of time to figure things out. 3 years later, at Jingque Studio, it became a well-known music production team. I was no longer just Mrs. Jiang. I was composer Shi Jingque. Sui started elementary school, bright and cheerful, the little sunshine of her class. Jingqing was still Jingqing. He was still my agent, my everything. But that thin layer between us 3 years ago, it was never fully broken. Not because we didn't want to, but because this felt good enough. Some feelings don't necessarily need a label. He was just there, as natural as the air, supporting our lives. Until that weekend afternoon, Sui was at a classmate's birthday party. It was just Jingqing and me at home. He reviewed documents on the couch. I edited a score nearby. Sunset light bathed the living room in a warm, golden light. So quiet you could hear each other breathe. Jingqing suddenly put down the file, got up, and walked over to me. I looked up at him. He knelt down on one knee, not in a proposal pose. It was an equal, solemn gesture. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small box, and opened it. Inside wasn't a ring, but a key.
I bought the place next door.
He looked at me, his voice soft.
It's all decorated, just the way you like it. I'm not asking you to move, and I'm not asking for any promises. I just want you to know, whenever you're ready, to take a step forward. I'll always be right here. Everything is ready for you. And if you don't want to take that step, that's okay too. We can stay just like this. I'm happy with that. I just needed you to know, you have a choice.
His gaze was clear and steady. No pressure. Only waiting. I looked at the key in his hand, then back at him. The sunset light fell on his face, softening the usually rebellious lines into something gentle. I remembered years ago, his eyes red-rimmed. He'd carry me out, promised to take care of me. I remembered all these years, him standing silently behind me, shielding me from every storm. I remembered his focused profile. He helped Sui, cooked congee for me. He draped his coat over me. Quiet, steadfast. Go far beyond blood, beyond titles. They seep into every tiny detail of life, becoming the strength that keeps you going. I reached out, took the key, and then held his hand. We don't need next door. I looked at him and whispered, this place is just fine. Jingqing paused for a moment. A slow smile grew deep in his eyes, finally reaching the corners of his eyes and brows. He didn't speak, just turned his hand to grasp mine tightly, his palm warm and strong. Outside the window, the sunset was perfect. Spring had truly arrived.